Dan Snyder is gone. His wife, who supposedly owned the team when all this stuff was going on, is gone. You bring in a new owner, Josh Harris, who owns the 76ers, owns the Devils. Go look at what the 76ers record has been since he's taken over as the owner. Go look at the Devils record since he's taken over as an owner. This is a man that doesn't fear spending money and helping his organization grow. So if you're a Commander fan, I expect a new stadium or the stadium to be fixed probably in the next 2 to 3 years. So for that, all the Washington Commander fans should be very excited because it'll be state of the art. This is a man that has all the money in the world. He will go out there and make sure that the fans are very, very happy with the product on the field.
And you look at a case of Dan Snyder's past, too. It all added up where it just had to happen at some point. And finally, these owners actually saw that. The vote ended up being, I think, completely unanimous, too, out of the other 31 owners, too. And that showed that
24 of 32.
Yeah, and that even showed, like, the evolution of the, like, owners in general, too. We talk about the owners all the time, like, having too much power at certain points in NFL history and many different teams in the past, too. Not just the Dan Snyder and the Commanders. So it's good to see them finally evolve into that way of thinking, too, of everything that Dan Snyder did wrong off the field, too, and now even more with the Jon Gruden thing, like you were saying. And I think there was something even that came out after that, too, where he has to pay $60 million to some of those victims of that. So.
I don't believe all those stories will come to a head until, obviously, the Jon Gruden lawsuit starts to approach. And I think the NFL, with this story, is going to try to brush it under the rug. Roger Goodell, who's known to brush things under the rug, a.k.a. the New England Patriots, Spygate, as he was very close with Robert Kraft, and automatically just those tapes that Bill Belichick was using before the Super Bowl magically disappeared. Why? Because Roger Goodell made sure they disappeared. And I think with the NFL in this particular story, where there's so many people involved with it, and there's a ton, and you know that Jon Gruden absolutely got thrown under the bus because Dan Snyder waved the flag and said, if you do this, I am blackmailing you, and you. But now Dan Snyder is not part of the league. Now Dan Snyder got his money. Now Dan Snyder is going to run along into the sunset. That's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to Dan Snyder very, very soon. He is going to be absolutely smacked around and prosecuted for everything he's done on and off the field with the Washington Commanders. With all the sex act crap that he was doing to the cheerleaders and people that he was working with or employees that he hired. This is all going to come to a head. And Dan Snyder, all the money in the world, owning the Washington Commanders is not going to save this guy. There's too much information going on. And the fact that Jon Gruden is the only name that's being wiggled around right now with this scandal is despicable. It is absolutely despicable. And not only is Jon Gruden going to get paid off from this, because he's going to get a lot of money. There's no question that he is, because he has so much on everybody, including owners that were involved in this conversation. Yes, is Jon Gruden a nice person? For what we read, no, he's not. Is Jon Gruden ever going to coach in the NFL again? Nope, he won't. So the players and all the racist remarks that he spat out all over his emails, he will never have a job again in professional sports. The players don't have to worry about Jon Gruden and his racist ways. But right now, when you look at this story as a whole, it is going to grow tons of legs. Absolutely tons of it. Because you cannot hide what is going on and what went on with those Washington Commanders teams for the last 5 seasons.